Hi students, all of you, how are you doing? In the last lecture, we had discussed the loose connective tissue. That's finished. Now today, we'll be discussing dense connective tissue as well as mucous connective tissue in one shot. So this is the present job now. Dense connective tissue as well as mucous connective tissue. Clear? That is, today we'll be completing the connective tissue proper. So dense connective tissue. I am writing CT here, short form. Okay. Dense connective tissue. Cells. It forms a tissue. For example, this is the tissue. These are the cells. And here is a extracellular matrix. Extracellular matrix, which contains the ground substance as well as the fibers. Isn't it? In the dense connective tissue, the cells are there, okay. Here cells are there, okay. These are the cells. Cells are present and extracellular matrix is present in the dense connective tissue as well. But here the cells are very much lesser. Cells are lesser. Number one, lesser cells, and extracellular matrix, the ground substance is also lesser, and the fibers are more. So that's a composition of dense connective tissue. Here the cells are there but very lesser in number. Example, fibroblasts are present here. Fibroblasts which secrete the fibers. The fibroblasts are there here but very lesser in number. Extracellular matrix, ground substance is there but which is very much lesser, and the fibers are there which are more. So that's the composition of the dense connective tissue. Whichever are arranged here, that is, cells are arranged in a compact manner. Cells are arranged in a compact manner. The cells are arranged in a compact manner. The fibers are also arranged in a compact manner. What is compact? Little space but more cheese, isn't it? That's called as more material is there. Little space is occupied by more material. That's called as more compact. So it forms the more density. That's why it's called as the dense connective tissue. Why? Because less space, more material, where density is equal to mass by volume, isn't it? In physics class, we have studied this one, isn't it? So dense connective tissue, that's why more compactly arranged material is there. It's more compactly packaged material is there. That's why it's called as the dense connective tissue. So let's discuss the amazing topic here called as dense connective tissue. Clear? So this basing on this arrangement, that is how the cells are arranged, how the ground substance is arranged, chiefly how the fibers are arranged here. The dense connective tissue is of three different types, basing on the cells, type of cells present, and how the fibers are arranged. The dense connective tissue is divided into three types. What is that? Let's discuss. Okay, students, dense connective tissue classification. One is the dense regular connective tissue, dense regular, dense irregular connective tissue, and other is the elastic connective tissue, elastic connective tissue. These are the three different types. So how many different types of dense connective tissue are there? Dense regular, dense irregular, and elastic connective tissue. What is the basis of arrangement, bachon? The chief basis of arrangement is the fibers. The fibers, which fibers are there and how the fibers arranged. What is the pattern of arrangement of these fibers? That is the chief mode of classification of the dense connective tissue. In this one, the dense regular and dense irregular connective tissue, both of them are made of the white fibers. White fibers. What are the white fibers? Collagen fibers. White fibrous tissue, because they are made of which one? Collagen fibers. So both dense regular and dense irregular are together called as the white fibrous connective tissue. Why? Because both are made of the collagen fibers. What's the color of these collagen fibers? White in color, isn't it? Previously we had discussed collagen fibers are white in color. That's why the dense regular and dense irregular are together called as the white fibrous connective tissue. Whereas elastic connective tissue are made of the elastic fibers. Elastic fibers. The elastic fibers are yellow. That is why yellow elastic fibers. So let's discuss one by one in detail here. First of all, dense regular, then dense irregular. So I'll discuss first of all dense regular connective tissue, बाद में dense irregular connective tissue. Clear, students? After which I'll be discussing the elastic connective tissue. So first of all, dense regular connective tissue. Here, these are made of both dense regular and dense irregular. Both are made of which fibers? Collagen fibers. And both are white in color. That's why they're called as a white fibrous connective tissue. Just now I told you, isn't it? That is, these are also made of the white collagen fibers. White collagen fibers. First point. And these fibers are regularly arranged. Regular pattern of arrangement. There is a regular pattern of arrangement of these collagen fibers. For example, you take the tissue here. Okay. In this one, the fibers, the collagen fibers, these are arranged as the bundles. These are the bundles. Yes, like this. Again, these are the fibers. Again, I'm drawing with the blue sketch. Actually, it is white in color. Okay, students. So these are the fibers. Individual fibers are there. They are arranged as the bundles. See here. Like this. So there is a regular arrangement of these ones. There is a regular arrangement here. They are parallelly arranged here. See here, there is a regular pattern. How they are arranged here? They are parallelly arranged here. Parallel arrangement. There is a parallel arrangement of these white fibers. These are the fibers, white collagen fibers. White collagen fibers, which are parallelly arranged in a disciplined manner, in a systematic manner, in a regular manner. That is why it's called as a dense regular connective tissue, because they are regularly arranged in a pattern, regular pattern of arrangement is there. That is why it's called as a dense regular connective tissue. Clear, students? Okay, here the fibrocytes, fibroblasts are also present, but these are also arranged in a regular fashion. You see here, the regular fashion. These are the fibroblasts. Fibroblasts which are present, they are also arranged in a systematic, in a regular pattern. There is no irregular zigzag manner. They are disciplined manner. They are arranged here just like the army. How the army is there. In the same way here, these are arranged in a regular pattern. That is why dense regular connective tissue. Now coming to the examples, let's discuss the crucial part of NEET here. The examples will be given here chiefly. What are the examples of the dense regular connective tissue? First of all, tendon and ligament. Tendon and ligament are the examples of dense regular connective tissue. Dense regular connective tissue is also called as cord, C-O-R-D, cord. Okay, students, or band. Cord also called as band. Cord or band is a nickname of dense regular connective tissue. Examples are tendon and ligament. Tendon is a tough, fibrous band of connective tissue. Tough, fibrous band of connective tissue. Whereas ligament is a tough, elastic band of connective tissue. See here, this is elastic ligament, whereas tendon is fibrous. Both are tough, both are bands of connective tissue, both are tough, but here tendon is a fibrous band of connective tissue, whereas ligament is a elastic band of connective tissue. Clear, students, all of you? Hope you are enjoying the session, my dear bachon, all of you. So that is the first point. That's the first point. The second point is tendon is a connection between the bone and the muscle. Bone and the muscle. It connects the bone with the muscle. I'll explain here just, okay. And ligament is a connection between the bone to the other bone. Bone to the other bone here, like this. Both the bones are right here. First of all, I'll come to the tendon. So here is a bone, epiphysis part. Okay, epiphysis part of the bone here. Here is a muscle, for example. This is a muscle. And here is a bone. This is a bone. This is a tendon. See here, this one is a tendon here. This one is a tendon. This is a tendon. The tendon connects the bone with the muscle. Here, this is a tendon. So after muscle contraction, the force of this muscle contraction is passing to the bone. Through the which one? Tendon. The muscle contracts now. The muscle, what is the most important property of the muscle? Contraction and relaxation, isn't it? The force of muscle contraction is passing to the bone from the muscle through the tendon. That's the most important function of the tendon. It connects the muscle with the bone. And it's a tough, fibrous band of connective tissue. Fibrous. Note down this point. Clear? Next one is a ligament. It's a tough, elastic band. It's here fibrous, here elastic band of connective tissue here. And it connects the bone to the bone. One bone is there. For example, this is a bone. Okay. Here another bone is there. Both the bones are joined here by the, here is a ligament here. See here. Here is actually a joint is formed, isn't it? What is a joint? It connects the bone to one bone. For example, shoulder joint, ankle joint, knee joint, many joints are there in the human body. Isn't it? These joints are nothing but connection between the bone to the other bone. At the joints, what are present? This is a joint, for example. Here is a bone, here is another bone, here is a joint. The joints contains the ligaments. The joints contains the ligaments here. For example, here is a ligament. Here is a ligament. Why the ligament is present? Because sometimes there are chances that the joint may be too much flexibility is there. Too much flexibility damages the joint as well as the bone. It's not happening, but why? Because here ligament is there. The ligament is guarding, protecting, safeguarding the joint from the too much extension, too much flexibility is not ascertained to the joint because of the presence of the ligament. So what's the most important function of this ligament? It protects the joint. Wherever the joint is there, there's the ligament also. So my dear students, one question, please all of you type in the comment box below, which is the strongest tendon in the human body and where is it located? Which is the strongest tendon in the human body and where is it located? All of you type in the comment box below. Clear, students? That's all about the dense regular connective tissue. Clear, students? Next, dense irregular connective tissue. Second one is the dense irregular connective tissue. I'll discuss here. Clear? So next one is dense irregular connective tissue. Now I told you that in the dense regular connective tissue, the white fibers are regularly arranged. No doubt they are compact. Here they are compact and they are also compact. In total dense connective tissue, the fibers are arranged in a compact manner, no doubt. But in the dense regular connective tissue, the fibers are arranged in a regular pattern. Whereas in the dense irregular connective tissue, there is no regular arrangement. They are not arranged in a regular pattern. There is an irregular arrangement is there. That's why it's called as the dense irregular connective tissue. See here. First point. The white fibers, that is white collagen fibers, aren't arranged in a regular pattern. That's why they're called as dense irregular connective tissue, because they aren't arranged in a regular pattern. How they are arranged then? They are arranged in a network of fibers. Network of fibers means these are here, they are arranged in a irregular pattern, just like here. There is a network of here, a machine network of irregular pattern of these fibers are formed here. There is no regular arrangement here. That is why it's called as a dense irregular connective tissue. They forms a network of fibers. Okay, students. And what are the examples of this one? And this dense irregular connective tissue is called as the sheath. Whereas dense regular connective tissue is called as band or cord. The dense irregular connective tissue is called as sheath. Okay, it forms a tough fibrous connective tissue sheath. All of you make a note there. It forms a tough fibrous connective tissue sheath around the different organs of the human body. Around different organs of human body. For example. So these are called as sheaths. That is, wherever the organ is there, that is encapsulated, surrounded, protected by the tough fibrous connective tissue sheath, which is nothing but dense irregular connective tissue sheath. Sheath means, what is a sheath? Just like our windows are covered by the curtain, isn't it? The same way here, the organs are covered by a thick covering. That's called as the sheath, which is nothing but tough fibrous connective tissue sheath present around the different organs of the human body. What are the examples now? Let's discuss. What are the examples? Examples of dense irregular connective tissue. Clear? There are many examples out there. All of you note down these points. pericardium. Pericardium. These are the sheets present around. Oh. So sheath is the and pericardium. First of all, pericardium. It is present around the heart. As you know here, card means cardio, anything means heart. Okay, the sheath is present, which is present around the heart is called as pericardium. And the sheath present around the bone is called as periosteum. Osteum. Anything card means heart. Osteo means bone. Study of bone is called as osteology, like this. Peri means here which one? Surrounding. Encircling, that is called as a peri. We say perimeter of the circle, isn't it? Perimeter. The same way here, periosteum around the bone and around the cartilage. Perichondrium. Perichondrium. Anything chondro means cartilage. Study of cartilage is called as chondrology. Cartilaginous cells, chondrocytes, chondroplasts, like this. Clear? So chondro means cartilage. Next one is renal capsule around the kidneys. Renal capsule. Anything renal means related to the kidneys, isn't it? So kidneys, for example, here is the kidney. It is surrounded by a tough fibrous connective tissue sheath. Here is called as a renal capsule. This is a renal capsule. Clear? Next one is around the joints. Joint capsule. Capsule is the joint capsule. Next one is liver. Very important point. This one is very important. Gleason's capsule. Gleason's capsule. The Gleason's capsule is present around the liver. What is Gleason's capsule? Gleason's capsule, here the structural and functional units of kidneys or nephrons. In the same way, the structural and functional units of liver, they are called as the hepatic lobules. The liver is divided into different lobes. Each lobe consists of many lobules. For example, in the human liver, as many as 50,000 to 1 lakh hepatic lobules are there. 50,000 to 1 lakh hepatic lobules are there in the human liver. These hepatic lobules are the structural and functional units of the liver. For example, this is a hepatic lobule, hexagonal in shape. Hexagonal means how many sides are there? It's a rough diagram, of course. Hexagonal means 6 sides are there, isn't it? Here is a central vein is there. Here the hepatic cells are there called as hepatocytes. See here. These are the hepatocytes arranged just like the spokes of the wheel of a bicycle. See like this. They are arranged here. And this is a central vein. Central vein. These are the hepatocytes or hepatic cells. Hepatocytes. This entire structure is a lobule. Hepatic lobule. The structural and functional units of liver. In the human liver, 50,000 to 1 lakh lobules are there. Now, why we are discussing here? Because these hepatic lobules are covered by the Gleason's capsule here. This is the Gleason's capsule here. So, throughout the liver, the hepatic lobules are there, and each lobule is ensheathed and encapsulated by the Gleason's capsule here. This is a very important point. Clear, students, all of you? So, we'll be discussing pericardium sheath around the heart, periosteum, bone, perichondrium, cartilage, renal capsule, kidney, joint capsule, joints, Gleason's capsule, liver. And still more are there, we'll be discussing here. And next one is 7. Eyes. Eyes are the exposed part of the eye, that is called as cornea. Around the cornea, the sheath is there here. Cornea of the eye. The cornea is also containing the dense irregular connective tissue sheath here. Next one. Brain. The brain is covered by outermost cranial meninges called as dura mater. Dura mater. The three cranial meninges are there. What is that? Code to remember is a DAP. What is DAP? Diammonium phosphate. D stands for dura mater. Dura mater. A stands for arachnoid matter. And P stands for pia mater. So, for example, this is the brain. So, outermost cranial meninges, here is called as dura mater, arachnoid matter and pia mater here like this. So, what is the outermost cranial meninge called as the dura mater? Dura mater is containing which one? Dense irregular connective tissue sheath. Clear, students? So, these are the various things here. And also other parts called as the deeper parts of the dermis. Deeper parts of the dermis. Dermis means innermost part of the skin, isn't it? Epidermis, below the epidermis there is a dermis. The deeper parts of the dermis also contains the dense irregular connective tissue here. Joint capsule, all these things, they contain the examples of the dense irregular connective tissue here. So till now we have discussed the dense irregular followed by dense irregular. Now let's discuss the elastic connective tissue, the third type of dense connective tissue. Clear, students? Elastic connective tissue. The third type of dense connective tissue is the elastic connective tissue. Elastic connective tissue is, as the name indicates, they are made of elastic fibers. Elastic fibers are there. A few collagen fibers are also there. Collagen fibers. Mainly, the elastic connective tissue is mainly made of elastic fibers, but a few collagen fibers are there and reticular fibers are totally absent. Reticular fibers are totally absent here. So these are elastic connective tissue is mainly made of elastic fibers. That's why what is the elastic fibers are which in color? The color of elastic fibers is yellowish, yellow. That's why elastic connective tissue is also mainly yellow in color. Whereas other two tissues are white fibrous connective tissues, isn't it? Dense regular and dense irregular, because they are mainly made of which one? Collagen fibers, isn't it? Whereas elastic connective tissue is mainly made of elastic fibers. That's why yellow elastic connective tissue. What's the most important property of the elastic connective tissue? One is elasticity. Elasticity is there. What is elasticity? When we stretch here by the force, it can be extended. When the force is removed, it can be recoiled. That's called as elasticity is there, just like a rubber band, isn't it? Elasticity is there. The same elasticity is there for the elastic connective tissue here. Okay, students. Now, what are the examples of elastic connective tissue? One is the vocal cords. The voice is produced by the here, larynx, isn't it? And amplified, magnified by the vocal cords here. They should be stretched. For example, when we shout, it can be stretched, isn't it? Why? Because the vocal cords contains the elastic connective tissue here. That is first example. The second example is trachea. Trachea means windpipe. The trachea is the next example of elastic connective tissue. Bronchi. Bronchi. I'm writing here. Fourth example is walls of the arteries. Walls of the arteries. They also contain the elastic connective tissue here. So these are the various examples of the elastic connective tissue. This finishes the dense connective tissue. Now the connective tissue proper, we have discussed loose connective tissue followed by dense connective tissue. Now the last one, but very short form, is a mucous connective tissue. Let's discuss about the mucous connective tissue, the third part of the connective tissue proper here. Dear students. So mucous connective tissue. The mucous connective tissue is also called as a embryonic connective tissue. Embryonic connective tissue. Because it's present only in the embryonic stages. For example, human embryos. Okay. As you know, this ground substance, matrix is present in the cells, isn't it? In the intercellular matrix is there, in the tissue. In the intercellular matrix of the mucous connective tissue, it is mainly made of the ground substance here, ground substance. Ground substance is present in the matrix of the mucous connective tissue. This ground substance is chiefly made of the gelatinous substance. Gelatinous substance. The mucous connective tissue is also called as embryonic connective tissue because it is present only in the embryos. And the tissue here is mainly containing the ground substance in the form of the gelatinous matrix. A jelly-like substance is there. Jelly-like substance is called as the Wharton's jelly. Very important bit. Wharton's jelly. Wharton's jelly. Wharton's jelly is chiefly made of the fibroblast-like cells. Fibroblast-like cells. And the mesenchyme-like cells. Mesenchyme cells. Fibroblast cells and mesenchyme cells. The Wharton's jelly is nothing but a gelatinous substance or a jelly-like substance present as in the form of ground substance in the matrix of the mucous connective tissue. So the mesenchymal cells here to be discussed here because these mesenchymal cells they are potent cells here, embryonic stem cells. They are the embryonic stem cells. Nothing but multipotent stem cells. Multipotent stem cells. They have the potency, inherent potency is there. What is potency? They have the power to generate any type of cell or any type of tissue of the human body. Yes, I repeat, these are called as the multipotent stem cells or embryonic stem cells. Why they are called as multipotent stem cells? Because they can generate any type of cells or any type of tissues of the human organs and organ systems of the human body here. Okay, students. That's why the pharmaceutical industries are very crazy about the research of these mesenchymal stem cells present in the Wharton's jelly here. They can generate any type of cells or tissues or organs. And chiefly, what are the examples? Where is this Wharton's jelly present? Human umbilical cord. Umbilical cord here. What is an umbilical cord? Which connects the placenta with the baby here, where the food substances and other particles are supplied from the placenta to the baby, developing baby, isn't it? Where is placenta? There is an intimate connection between the fetus and the mother, isn't it? It's a part, it's a tissue formed both by the fetus and also the mother. That's called as placenta. The placenta is connected to the fetus by a narrow cord-like structure. For example, here is a placenta. This is a placenta which is formed, for example, placenta. And here is a baby which is formed. Here is the thing here. This is the umbilical cord. This is the umbilical cord. So that is an intimate connection between the mother and the baby called as umbilical cord. The umbilical cord contains the Wharton's jelly. Wharton's jelly contains the mesenchymal stem cells, which are the multipotent stem cells, and they have the capacity, they have the potency to generate any type of cells or tissues of the human body. That's why they are very crazy. They are, much research is done with the various biomedical research and also pharmaceutical research. In the current trend, they are researching on the multipotent stem cells present in the Wharton's jelly here. So this finishes your connective tissue proper. Okay, students. In the next lecture, we'll be discussing the cartilage followed by bone. Clear, students? All of you, hope you enjoyed my session. Please comment below, all of you. Okay, bye, students.